What is up, gamers? Hope you guys are having a good morning, afternoon. As a trainer, you're playing as actual Pokemon. Uh, this tutorial is pretty much just going to show you that there's these Pokemon. They're wounded up by this magical key, and they can just kind of run around. Um, Normally, Pokemon will have 4 different moves. Um, in this game, you only have 2 moves. Generally, you'll be playing this game on a Wiimote, so you'll only have 2 attacks. It's your number 1 and number 2 button, and then you're able to switch out into Pokemon. So the main point of this category is just to complete this difficulty, which is the normal difficulty, as fast as possible, but also completing each stage while doing so. So there's going to be 6 stages in each rank, and there's 4 ranks in each difficulty. And this is just the normal difficulty. This is kind of just your typical any percent, I guess, difficulty, like where you start on a new file and just beat the game as fast as possible. So what's happening right now, for the first 5 minutes, we kind of just have a little bit of a tutorial. The game kind of shows you what it has in store for you and then how to play the game. So right here, this Rattata is kind of doing a naughty thing and is deciding to go into this battle royale when it's not supposed to. So you're actually technically able to beat the battle royale, but in order to get into each battle royale, you need to get to a certain power. For rank C, you have to get to a power of 100, and we'll get into how exactly you do that in a little bit. But this Rattata is just your ordinary average basic Rattata. Its power is 24, so it's very weak. And all the Pokemon in this battle royale are around 100. So what our players are going to do is just SD, pretty much, just kill themselves as fast as possible. There's certain Pokemon that they'll go towards. Parasect, Butterfree, Wigglytuff, Pikachu are all really good options that'll kill you in one hit. So they kill themselves fast as possible, so then they can go into the stages and complete them as such. So this Silent Forest is just a little bit of a tutorial level. You're going to see them do a little bit of a tackle into each text box. It's pretty much just they can gain a little bit further into the stage as they tackle through the text box, because once the text box triggers, it's supposed to stop you from moving. But getting that tackle just lets you move a little bit further. So this Pikachu is always going to drop no matter what. This is your form of catching Pokemon. So instead of like throwing a Pokeball or weakening a Pokemon like that, you just kind of go into all these stages and just kill them. There are some instances where RNG isn't a factor, whether a Pokemon will drop or not. But for the most part, as long as you're just killing stuff, they may or may not drop. And I said earlier, power. Power is this game's version of level. So there's no leveling up. There's no experience. It's just you kill Pokemon. If it drops, it's a specific power. Depending on the rank and how many stages you've completed, the power of that Pokemon will increase. So in this tutorial level, there's 2 Pokemon that are always going to drop. It's that Pikachu and then the boss at the end of the stage. So you're like just going off of this tutorial, the basic rundown of this game is you enter a stage, you run around the stage, you beat stuff up, and then you beat a boss at the end of each stage. And there's also a lot of I guess like the best way to say is just like little cutscenes at the end of each room, and like this little wind-up cutscene that you see here. These are all going to be able to be skipped right as we're done with the tutorial, which we'll get into a little bit more intricate stuff after that. But we got the Pikachu solely so that we could fight this Ivysaur a little bit faster. Similar to regular Pokemon runs, there are damage ranges. Sometimes this Pikachu can do 5 to 6 damage or 6 to 7 damage to the Ivysaur each hit. And also each boss can have a different pattern. It looks like Whom got a little bit better pattern than JP did. JP seems a little bit further away from the trampoline. They're also going to ignore picking up that Ivysaur because he's not really useful. We don't really need to worry about any Pokemon that we're picking up, because now we're going to be able to get into describing what passwords is. So the difference, the 2 like separating categories for this game every category has a passwords and a no passwords category, where you're able to start a run or a new file with Pokemon saved onto your Wiimote. Those Pokemon are a passcode that you're able to put into a file that Nintendo gave out that gives you just special kinds of Pokemon. There's some basic ones, like there's like a Charmander, a Venusaur that have like a Solar Beam or whatever, something like that. But there's also some of these really, really good Pokemon, like this Rattata right here. This Rattata is a shiny, speedy Rattata. So instead of having natures like Adamant Natured or anything like that, they have special traits in this game, which can affect different parts of the speed run. Speedy doubles the normal walking speed of whatever Pokemon it has. So this Rattata walks twice as fast as a normal Rattata. So it's quite useful in this beginning part of the run. You're also going to see that Rattata is kind of destroying these bosses right now. The moveset the Rattata has is Reversal and Double Edge. Double Edge has a lot of active hitboxes out. Oh my gosh, JP got almost an entire room of Magikarps. Magikarps are like super, super, super bad RNG. They have almost no end lag for their moves, and they don't do any damage to you. They just keep jostling you around and just trolling you. So you try to avoid those as much as possible. But yes, Double Edge does a lot of damage to the bosses. And also you'll see them do a Double Edge as they're entering the trigger of the boss fight. And as you can also see, whenever they get to a trampoline, the fade out happens a lot sooner than it was happening in the tutorial. Depending on when you time your number 2 button press, you're able to enter the next room or start that the animation for like triggering the cutscene. You're just able to cancel it sooner depending on when you hit the number 2 button. And it's just kind of, timing. I wouldn't say anything is exactly frame perfect, but there are definitely timings for each animation skip. So another thing is the bosses are able to drop. It's not just the Ivysaur. It is RNG dependent though. Some of the aspects that you can look into knowing whether a Pokemon will drop or not is that there are shiny Pokemon in this game. Unlike the other Pokemon Rumble games, there are, I think there's 4 other Pokemon Rumble games. But there are shiny Pokemon in this game, and those always will drop no matter what, as long as you kill it. So as long as you kill the shiny Pokemon, you'll pick it up. And then what Whom was going for there, it's a little unfortunate that he did die there. It's going in a little bit into that, kind of going to a little sidebar. There's a lot going on in this game, so it's kind of hard to be able to explain everything as it's going. I'm kind of trying to get you guys a general picture, and then we'll start getting into intricacies a little later into the run. But so like all the rooms have like similar Pokemon that'll show up. So all the Pokemon in rank C Fiery Furnace, there's only a certain amount of Pokemon that'll spawn in there. But sometimes this first room, for JP's sake, sometimes it can all be Magnemite. Sometimes it can be a mixture of the 3 that are here: Mankey, Vulpix, Magnemite. But like it's all just RNG, and also it depends. Like it's RNG whether or not they try to attack you, where they're walking, where they're standing. So it's a lot of adaptation. The more you do runs, the more you kind of get used to the general patterns and stuff like that, and the hitboxes of their moves. Another thing to note is that we saw on Whom's side that Whom went into a Raichu that was a lot faster walking speed than this Rattata is. But the reason that we're doing Rattata in rank C is because Rattata is still pretty quick on his feet. And Double Edge just does so much damage to the bosses in rank C that it doesn't really make up the time that you gain from movement from Raichu. So in rank C, it's actually faster to play through the rank as Rattata, but for the rest of the game, we're going to be playing as Raichu. And also, since we're beating each stage, as you complete each stage, the Pokemon in the rank become more powerful. So typically in a regular any % run, you'll see... Oh, JP, no, wait, what are you doing? JP. What is he doing? Oh my goodness! He didn't go to. He didn't go to Windy Prairie. This is okay. He can go back to it after he beats the battle royale, but he just completely skipped it. Someone might need to like tell him that. Milo, if you're able to like tell him in his chat, maybe to like not forget that, because that would automatically disqualify this run if he just doesn't go back and complete that stage. It's a little funny. I've never seen that before, actually. Well, this kind of changes the commentary dynamic. So this is the battle royale, but I'll get to battle royales in a second. Let me finish the first thing. So as you complete each stage, the Pokemon get more powerful, and that's how they kind of make leveling up not a thing in this game. So as you beat each stage, you get more powerful Pokemon. So like in an 90% run, you'll complete the least amount of stages possible to get the power that you need to enter the battle royale, which is typically 3. But in this category, we have to beat all stages. So we're able to go into all 6 of them. And that makes getting the power that we need a lot easier than what it would normally be. So that's getting the power that we need is typically not the issue. It's mainly just getting it quickly, because we're trying to beat the stages as fast as we can. So we don't want to have to waste our time killing Pokemon. So sometimes, well, most of the time, like in a task setting, we'll want the one of the bosses to drop, either the 4th, 5th, or 6th boss to drop. If he skips this stage, I'm gonna cry. He just skipped the stage. He has to go back to rank C later. This is not looking too good for JP. That's really funny. But what am I trying to say? So yes, going to more stages makes getting the power a lot easier. But of course, we don't want to have to waste time killing Pokemon that are kind of walking around. So we'll always hope for the best and want either the 4th, 5th, or 6th stage boss to drop. More specifically, the 4th or 5th stage, because the 6th stage, if you get to the boss and you haven't gotten the power you need yet, it usually means that you're not going to get the power. The boss doesn't always drop. It's kind of rare for a boss to drop for the most part. But as you can see from what you saw on JP and whom's screen, they're using Shaman. Shaman is another Password Pokemon, obviously, that has a really, really powerful move called Seed Flare. It has a very large hit radius. The cooldown and startup for the move is a little slow, but it's not too bad. But it also has defense drop mechanics. So it's like a 1 in 4 chance, I believe, for getting a defense drop when it hits the Pokemon. So you always want to hope for the defense drops, especially on the boss Pokemon. So you just want to make sure that you're kind of spacing correctly, because he's also a grass flying type. Grass flying type is a pretty has quite a few weaknesses, so you just have to be a little bit careful. This Raichu is also a very new thing to the run. We found out about this Raichu in early June of this year. And Raichu in this particular category saves about like 1.5 minutes, maybe 2. His walking speed is at least doubled of what Speedy Rattata is. So what this Raichu has is agility, which doubles the walking speed of a Pokemon when it uses it. And then Thunder, which Thunder is a very, very, very powerful electric type move. So the reason that we're starting to use Raichu now and not in rank C is because in rank C, Thunder doesn't really do that much damage to the boss Pokemon for whatever reason. But once you get to rank B and onward, you'll pretty much kill everything unless there's specific Pokemon like this Rhydon that Whom is killing. Rhydon is a very trolly boss. They both actually got really good Rhydon RNG. But Thunder just does a lot more damage right as you get after rank C. Another thing to note is that damage ranges are always a thing in Pokemon. So like if you're familiar with Pokemon speedruns, you'll know what I'm talking about. But sometimes if you use, like, we'll say, for an example, if you use Ember on a Pokemon, it can either do from a range of 15 to 23 damage on a Pokemon, depending on the damage roll. We still have those damage rolls in Pokemon Rumble. So there's going to be some bosses. JP got a good damage roll by getting a 4-hit on the Magmar. He only had to use Thunder 4 times instead of 5. So like, so you'll see that in a few instances. There's some bosses where it doesn't really matter. The way that we routed this category is going off of the earliest that you can kill each boss, like taking the least amount of hits total. Of course, damage rolls go into that, but we also take into consideration damage rolls. We'll see that in the next rank. The rank A has a really good representation of like the routing is very, very tight by how much hits you have to do on each boss and also damage rolls. But Magmar is like one of our first instances. Persian is another instance. Persian back in rank C. JP skipped him. Let me try and like DM him on Discord or something. I don't really know what else to do. I've never seen it before, and usually, or whenever you beat a stage, it's highlighted in like a light circle around the trampoline at the hub world. So he does have to go back. If he completes the run without going back, he does have to forfeit, I guess. So let me like. There we go. That's a little unfortunate. But yes, so that's how we went about routing this, because the movement is not going to change depending on when we go to it. The Pokemon are still going to be the same. The amount of Pokemon that spawn is still going to be random to an extent. So we just kind of go by the bulkiness of each Pokemon. In rank C, we only go by the defense stat. In this game, the stats aren't going by numbers. They actually just go by a dot system. So they can go from anything between 1 and 5 dots. So Rattata, for instance, has like, I think 2 in attack and 1 in defense. So like if we were trying to kill a boss Rattata, we would go to him probably last because he'll die pretty quickly still. But for rank C, since Rattata has a normal type move as his attacking move, this game doesn't have anything like what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have immunities. So you can hit ghost types with normal types. You can hit flying types with ground types. You can do all that kind of stuff. I believe it does neutral damage to it. It could also do resistant damage. I think it kind of depends on the Pokemon. But usually I believe it does neutral damage to it. So we're able to use normal type moves on ghost types and stuff like that. So that's not of our issue. But once we get into rank B, where we have Raichu that has a specific type, that has weaknesses and strength, then we also have to take into consideration the boss's resistance to electric types. So we go to, in rank B, we went to Rhydon first because 1, it resists electric, and also it's really, really bulky. And then the last Pokemon that we're going into or the last stage that we're going to go into in the boss that we fight is a flying type who's super effective, or electric is super effective against, so we don't really have to worry about it. But yeah, I'm not, your guys' guess is as good as mine. I'm probably just super intensely focusing on his gameplay. He has been grinding any percent for a while. Typically in any percent, once you get the power that you need, you just go into the battle royale. So he could have just autopiloted a little bit. We're trying to get his attention. He might know already. He might just decide to go back a little later. Something to also note is that these password Pokemon, in order to save them onto your controller, you have to maximize their power. So password Pokemon, since you put them in as a code, you don't collect them at a certain point other than whenever you put them into the game. So you're able to put them into the game at the start of the game if you want. You just can't use them until you're done with the tutorial level. So this Raichu's maximum power, for example, is 1606. So in order to be able to save this Raichu onto your Wiimote, you have to complete advanced, which is the next difficulty after normal. It's pretty much the same thing. There's 4 ranks, 6 difficulties. It's just the power is a lot more harder, and also you get to play with Gen 4 Pokemon. So in order to save those Pokemon to the Wiimote, you have to maximize their power. So whenever he goes into each rank, the way that the game caps it is they put the power. So Raichu's power right now is at 199 until he beats. What is he doing? I don't know what JP's doing. He's able to skip through all of this. I'm not too sure what he's doing right now. I'm not really sure what he's doing, but I think he's probably just assuming he needs the SD now. He can complete again. He can go back to it whenever he wants. I've never had that happen, but it's not against the rules to do that. It's just you have to beat all the stages before beating the game. So he probably just wasn't sure what to do because I've never seen this happen before either. He probably hasn't. So I'm not too sure what's going on. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So the maximum power, for them capping it, as you can see, Blastoise, all these Passer Pokemon are at 199 because the power that you need to get into the Battle Royale is 200. It would obviously be broken if you could just get Passer Pokemon and then them being over 1,000 power and then just one-shotting everything by like, you know, thousands of hit points. So the game caps it. So every time you go into a rank that has a certain power cap that your Passer Pokemon exceeds, it'll put it to the number right below it. And that's another thing about the Rattata that we have. Rattata's max power is 388. So once we get past rank B, Rattata starts to get a lot weaker, and especially once we get to rank S, where the Pokemon get really powerful comparative to powers of 300. Rattata will pretty much die in 1 hit, maybe 2 hits to everything in rank S. So Raichu is also just super helpful with that instance. I hope that JP kind of realized, because you're able to skip through a lot of cutscenes and text boxes and stuff like that after you beat the tutorial, so you're able to skip through all of that stuff. Oh, he died. Oh no, he died. That's so unfortunate. Is he gonna... I'm not too sure what he's doing. I guess we're just gonna find out. Okay, he realized his mistakes. He is going back. That's really unfortunate. I don't really know what he was thinking by going for the SD at the beginning of the Battle Royale, but it's unfortunate. So he's gonna be doing this. But the good thing about this is that he's now at 199 power, so he can kill this Persian quite quickly. So that's a good thing. But he went through the whole entire Battle Royale. He had to have either committed to one or the other. He was very unsure of what to do at that instance. So now we have Whom going into rank A. He seemed to have maybe forgot where exactly he was going. But everything's all good. Oh, look at that 2-hit. Dang. Good damage roll. Good damage roll. Alrighty. I hope everything is making sense. There's so much stuff to cover in this game, and so much happening. It's hard for, to really pick times to go over everything, but I'm doing my best. Also, for those who are curious, the world record for this category is a 44:21. That is by me. And both of these players have a 40. Whom has a 45:50 or 45:49, I believe, or yeah, 45:49, and then JP has a 46:10. So they're pretty close to each other. I will say, because of what happened with JP, him having to go back to Windy Prairie wasn't that big of a deal, honestly. but him taking that death is what kind of sealed the deal. Unless, you know, some really bad stuff happens with whom, and JP starts to play really, really well. It's just a little unfortunate. I can also go into there's always a specific strat that we try to go about doing each battle royale. So typically there's like a certain number of Pokemon that spawn in each battle royale, and you have to kill a certain amount before the next wave spawns. Rank B is the weirdest battle royale, I would say. There's 4 bosses. Typically there's 3. And they all spawn after you kill a certain amount, but you can't spawn the last boss until you kill at least one. So we always try to just hit the boss because we want to get the defense drop, and we also want to just kill him sooner. But we also try to make sure that we're also hitting the other Pokemon along with the boss. So what you were seeing with whom doing it, and now JP, they kind of circle around the boss, so they're hitting each of the other Pokemon that are on the border of him, but they're also hitting the boss, so they're getting damage on him, and also the defense drop. So, yes. Also, the Blastoise that you saw earlier, he's just kind of like a backup Pokemon. He's really useful if, for whatever reason, your Raichu and your Rattata die in a movement stage. Aqua Tail is a pretty good move for movement. And also, he's really good for battle royales if you were to die as Shaman pretty early on. Typically, if they die later on in the battle royale, like in the last few Pokemon are left, they'll go into Raichu because we have to switch into Raichu anyway to enter the stage. But yes, JP has realized. Unfortunately, he didn't go about it the best. But it doesn't seem that he's too far behind, weirdly enough, unless I missed something that JP did, or that whom did. Typically, the route for this category is quite tight because of those damage rolls and because of the defenses of these Pokemon. So usually you'll go to Rocky Cave and then Silent Forest in rank A. It looks like whom went to Bright Beach first before Silent Forest. So just a little route difference, which is not a big deal. You don't really lose too much time, but when you're starting to like go for those PBs and like grind attempts, you definitely want to make sure you're using the optimal route. A really interesting thing about the dynamic of all stages and any percent is that any percent kind of emphasizes a lot of the more what's the word I'm looking for? You lose a lot more time because of RNG in any percent than you would lose in all stages. So getting bad RNG in all stages, you might lose 15 seconds. In any percent, you could lose like a minute to bad RNG. So all stages is a lot more optimized in a sense. But it's also just because you minimize a lot of RNG by going to every stage and also having the password Pokemon. So for like all the intricate little RNG factors, like the battle royales, the placement of Pokemon in each stage, and also how the boss reacts, it affects the run a lot more than it would in any percent. Which I also didn't even get to touch on for the battle royales. So for each battle royale, they show each wave brings in a certain amount of Pokemon from each stage in the rank, no matter if you've completed the stage or not. Those Pokemon are random, but it's always going to be from that rank. So for like rank A, the Silent Forest wave could have all Glooms, it could have some Venusaurs, it can have all kinds of stuff. It's just RNG what Pokemon they exactly are, but there's always a general idea of what they're going to be. They could also react differently. Sometimes they can just run away from you. Sometimes they can run towards you. Sometimes they'll hone in on you, which is very ideal because Shaman's attack is a circle that surrounds it. So if the more Pokemon that surround it, or the more Pokemon that bundle up together, the better for you. But yeah, even that is a lot, like, are very small, intricate RNG factors that you wouldn't normally look into, but All Stages just really emphasizes on those small, intricate time losses because of how optimized it is, because you're able to be that optimized in this kind of game. I would say that Pokemon Rumble doesn't have as much RNG as a lot of other Pokemon games do. I say that after I've said all these things about having RNG in it, but you're able to work around a lot of stuff, and a lot of the things are kind of, you're able to tell. So you're able to tell what Pokemon, or what the boss is going to do, for example. Of course, the more you play, you'll be able to realize things more and watch the game and stuff like that. But depending on how bosses charge their moves, or if they're waiting around for a little too long, you can kind of predict them to just start going for a move that'll hit you away, or if they decide to run away or walk towards you or anything like that. Ideally, you don't want the boss to ever use the attack that hits you away. That's just something all the bosses have. I guess it was just something they decided to give to each boss because they're big and spooky, I guess. JV going to Eternal Tower 4th. Interesting. Typically, Eternal Tower is the last stage you go to. Because Gengar is quite weak, but also Thunder does like neutral damage to him. So he kind of takes the same amount of damage almost whenever you go to him. Aerodactyl can be a 4-hit if you have really, really good damage range. But typically you'll get a 5-hit on Aerodactyl. But these guys are having quite a bit of issues with with these stages right now. Maybe just some race nerves. I don't believe these guys have raced before. This is also the first time that Rumble has been showcased where I haven't been running the game. So that's also just probably a little bit of nerves for that as well. And as you can see with what JP did, he killed that Haunter specifically because it was had like a little bit of sparkly tint to it. That was something I was talking about back in Rank C. One of the ways that you'll know if a Pokemon will drop or not is if it's shiny, it has a little sparkly tint to it, or if you stun it. Stunning it is RNG, so like sometimes you'll just hit a Pokemon and it'll have like this very exaggerated animation of getting hit back, and then it just kind of looks dizzy. And if you kill it while it's dizzy, it'll drop. So while we're like your basic run, like what you'll see a runner do is that they'll just run through the first 4 stages as fast as possible. They won't kill Pokemon that are walking around in the first 4 stages typically. But once they get to that 5th and 6th stage, they'll definitely be looking for shiny Pokemon. They'll be looking for those Pokemon that have a sparkly tint to it. And if for whatever reason they hit a Pokemon and it gets dizzy, then they'll also go and kill that as well. And usually if the 4th, again, like I said earlier, the 4th or 5th boss gets killed, it'll most likely be the power. The 6th boss, again, you don't really want to have to rely on that, but if the 6th boss does drop, it's most likely going to be the power. I don't think I've ever seen the 6th boss not be the power. I have seen the 5th boss not be the power before. It's quite heartbreaking. But yes. So, whom had an alright Battle Royale? Any rank Battle Royale can be a little tricky. There are some instances where you'll kind of know you're going to get hit. So like obviously you don't want to get hit too much in the beginning of the Battle Royales in general, but sometimes it's not too big of a deal as long as you're getting a good trade off of it. But that Venusaur, for instance, always will hit you most likely because his move just kind of comes out around the same speed as Seed Flare does. It doesn't do too much damage, so you don't have to worry about being like getting a hit like once or twice. But if you're kind of low on HP, you kind of have to be a little bit more careful about it, or you'll die. like we saw, but it's not that big of a deal dying at the end of the battle royales. Obviously, you don't want to. It's still a time loss, but it's not the biggest time loss as if you were to die early or mid game of the battle royales. But now we're seeing in Whom at once we get to S rank, it almost kind of feels like a completely different run. The way that this game was balanced doesn't really seem to be like the best. I think this game was kind of made to kind of just show off like a new idea that they were going off of, or maybe a new art style, because this was the first instance that Nintendo decided to give Pokemon this toyish look. Other games that they used it with was like Pokemon Ranch. If you remember that one, proud of you, I guess. But the way that they went about it was rank C to rank B was pretty good. Rank B to rank A didn't really make much sense, and then rank A to rank S, they kind of just instantly gave you like very, very more powerful Pokemon from rank A to S. So all these Pokemon, their AI acts a lot smarter. There's a lot more Pokemon. The moves are a lot harder to like survive from. Even though we're a higher power with Raichu, if you get stuck, it can be a bad time. Whom did a really nice strat there, where Raichu is able to outrange Snorlax's sleep move. I believe it's Yawn actually. If you hit that like ring that Snorlax gave out, it'll just put you to sleep. So as long as you space that correctly, you're able to just keep mashing that Seed Flare, or not Seed Flare, the Thunder, which works out very well. So obviously, Snorlax is definitely the bulkiest of rank S. Zapdos is the next bulkiest, which is really weird. Typically, like in general, Zapdos has one of the lesser defense stats out of the bosses in rank S, but he bulks out electric type moves because he have electric. So we go to him second because it actually does take him a lot longer to kill him anytime after the second time you go to him. The routing for rank S is pretty set in stone. It's pretty simple. There are certain instances where like it could be faster to maybe go to another one, or maybe do a specific strat for a certain boss, but it doesn't really save time in the end. But yes. So what Whom is going to be trying to do here is these boss fights are all just super whack. They can go very bad, or they can just go fine, kind of like his Snorlax did. Because again, the AI acts a lot differently in rank S. So we'll see how he does in these next two stages, because they're kind of important. And also, there was something I was going to note, and I completely forgot. So hopefully that everything has been entertaining to you guys so far. Oh, JP just got... Okay, JP got something that's quite rare. Sometimes, very, very rare, there's only like 2 or 3 moves I believe actually do it. But sometimes the Pokemon that are in the stages, they don't actually hurt each other. So they can use like their moves against each other, like, or in the general direction of other Pokemon, but it won't hurt them. But cases like Venusaur, where it uses Frenzy Plant, it can actually, or Petal Dance, sorry. When it uses Petal Dance, it'll actually hurt other Pokemon around it. And if it gets on a off chance of making the other Pokemon dizzy, it'll lag the game completely. This game has a very weird tendency of lagging a lot. It makes sense to why. It's just kind of silly because it's like a pretty basic WiiWare game. But just too many Pokemon with too much charging animation, and then once the moves come out, it's just even more stuff on the screen. There's just a lot going on, and the game just lags out. So whenever a Pokemon drops, there's quite a lot of lag unless the boss drops. That's another reason why we want the bosses to drop for our power, because it just saves even more time just on saving lag frames. Oh, Whom is getting up to... This is like probably the hardest stage to survive in with Raichu. We've seen them die in quite a few other stages, but typically rank S, all the stages are a little difficult, but Rocky Cave is definitely the hardest. All the Pokemon in there have really good hitboxes and all come out quite fast. Usually Raichu will be able to outspeed whatever hitbox comes at it, but not in Rocky Cave. Rocky Cave has a lot of really good Pokemon that use their moves quite quickly. He didn't get the boss drop, so no power drop yet. It usually isn't too difficult to get the power in rank S. But the only thing that kind of sucks about this particular route is that going to Bright Beach last in rank S is easily the fastest route to go about for rank S. But the Pokemon, for whatever reason, grass types and water types in Pokemon Rumble, they all, for the most part, are just not good. For attacking, they're not good. For speed, they're not good. For powers, they're not good. Nothing is really good about fire or grass types or water types. So whenever we have to kind of rely on getting a power Pokemon in the Bright Beach, it's a little Monkagiga, just a little bit Monkagiga. So hopefully Whom can get this Moltres drop. It's always a nice feel whenever you get the 5th boss to drop, because you don't have to really worry about too much. He did not, unfortunately, so he's going to have to grind for some Pokemon in Bright Beach. Hopefully RNG's a little nice to him. Another interesting thing about this game is that regardless of what happens to you, unless you pretty much die or there is a particular move that makes you get stunned or flinched or something like that, you're continuously moving. Even if you're going to walk into a wall, there's no bonking. Bonking does not exist in this game. So if these players walk into a wall, the wall will just kind of push them onward, either left or right, and they'll kind of just walk onto the wall. They won't glitch out or anything, but it just keeps going. And if you're walking into a Pokemon, you'll just continue to just walk into that Pokemon's hitbox until you move out of the way, or until it hits you or something like that. Which we're actually able to use it to our advantage at sometimes. Right now, it's kind of irrelevant because we aren't needing to do it too much. But there's instances where sometimes there'll be Pokemon that are all bundled up together, but there's a little bit of space in between Pokemon where you're able to walk through it. And sometimes the game will kind of freak out a little bit because it knows that you shouldn't be able to fit through that space between the Pokemon, but the game won't stop you from walking. So you're able to just continue walking forward until the game either until the whole entire camera freaks out and then the whole camera shakes, or the game will push you out on the other side, which is useful in some instances, but it kind of just depends on what RNG you get with the Pokemon, like where they're standing and everything like that. I believe Whom got the power that he needed. Okay, good. So Whom's had a pretty solid run for the most part. There's obviously been some nerve spaghetti going on here, but didn't really forget the route too much. You know, he didn't forget to go to a stage, so that's good. I want to take a quick second to shout out these two players. Both these guys have been grinding the category to make sure that this has been as entertaining as possible. It's a little unfortunate of what happened with JP, but you know, all in good fun. But this battle royale that Whom is in is definitely the hardest. The first wave is always a big tone setter for each battle royale, because they don't just spawn in a wave of, like, you know, 10 or however many spawn in each wave or in a circle. They kind of are all just, there's a bunch of Pokemon scattered in the entire stage, and they can all kind of just troll you and walk away from you, or walk towards the wall, or just go into small little packs where it just takes time to walk over to them and kill them. Or they can be nicer to you and, you know, walk up to you or walk into bigger groups or something like that. So this is like the hardest for getting like good RNG for that. And also the bosses are all like really difficult to survive after, as you could see from taking a death there, which isn't too uncommon. You really have to be careful about where you're standing. You're able to do a lot of stun lock cheese with this game, as long as you space it correctly. And there's like an itty bitty bit of RNG that goes into stun locking, but nothing too crazy. As long as another Pokemon doesn't hit them and reset their move charging, then you're pretty much able to stun lock almost any Pokemon with whatever move that we have with Passer Pokemon. But time is going to be whenever he collects the coin after the Battle Royale. So whom did get that kill. He might actually PB. Is he going to PB? It's going to be close. I'm going to say time for whom. And time. That's a PB for whom. Wow. Congrats to whom. So whom's going to take the W and also get a PB in the at the same time. So good stuff to whom. That is second place for this category. Congrats to whom. Oh, did JP seem to have gotten the power in the Fiery Furnace, which is always nice. And didn't forget to go to Bright Beach. That's also important. So we're gonna keep cheering on JP. Again, so for whatever reason, Magikarp doesn't spawn in rank B or A for Bright Beach, but he spawns in rank C and rank S. And like I said earlier, Magikarp can really troll you. I've had runs where I've lost multiple seconds because I've been trapped in a pool of Magikarp, and it's rough. So luckily, JP was able to get around that quite easily, and they didn't troll him too hard. And he doesn't have to worry about getting any drops or anything like that. He just has to complete the stage, kill the boss, get into that Battle Royale. And then on whom screen, that's how you would open up the next advanced category, which is just a lot harder. It's always fun. I also want to do a nice shout out to just the Pokemon Rumble community. I've been running this game for about 5 years now, and it's pretty much just been me for almost the entire time. There'll be like some times where 1 or 2 people will kind of pick up the game, do a run of no passwords. Sometimes they'll pick up any % passwords, do some stuff here and there. But typically it's been a pretty chill, low-key game. But starting back in May, maybe like mid to late May, early June, this game has really popped off, and it actually became the most popular and most active speedrun on speedrun.com for Pokemon games. It's died down a little bit. I think it's now like the 4th or 5th most popular game, which is still insane, considering where it used to be. But we've had a lot of strats found in both passwords and no passwords categories. We've had some really, really cool stuff show up. We've had some incredible PBs happen, both from world records and also like just top 10 times becoming more optimized. Being able to showcase this game is super, super important to me. I apologize if my commentary was a little confusing. There's a lot of nerves going on and a lot of stuff to talk about, and also the shenanigans that did happen. I've never witnessed before, so very, very funny. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned some stuff. If you ever want to get into this game, there's many ways to get the game now, even if you don't have it. Because you were supposed to only get it from Wii Shop, but you're able to download the game now. So there are ways to get this game, to pick it up. We have guides, we have active runners that are more than happy to help you guys learn the game. We have all kinds of fun categories, and it's a fun little community. And I hope you guys have really enjoyed it. because this really does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate GSA letting me to showcase this game, and showcase like how far it's come in like the 5 years that I've been running the game. Now JP, let's not take a spill here. Mewtwo is a little spook. That little cutscene that would like happen at the end of each rank, if you couldn't tell, it's Mewtwo. So, yes, but we're gonna get time soon on JP. He gets the coin and time. That's gonna be a clappa from me, dog. All right, so I like super want to hear what these two players want to talk about. If they're down. So if they are, I'd love to hear it. I think we're waiting on if they're going to be down to do interview or not. But yes, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and viewing and everything. It's awesome. What's up, wh0m?
Hello.
How are you, man?
First of all, yes, I know the order for B rank. Or was it A? I don't even remember. It was whenever I did Charizard early.
There's a lot that happens in this game. It's hard to like really just keep track of everything, and like, I get you.
My drop luck. Like, it's C rank. I killed 3 enemies in one area that were all sparkly, and not one of them was over 100. Then I killed like 3 more in A, then nothing worked. And then I got 666 for Blastoise.
Yeah. Which is Monka Giga.
How did I PB?
That's... dude, like I actually wasn't even paying attention to what time it was. I had to PB.
I got a 45-46, but then it wouldn't stop my timer, so I was just like spamming.
Well, there you go. That's on the PB.
Was...
So I'm not sure if you know what happened. I mean, I actually probably could tell by the chat, but JP did forget to go into Windy Prairie. He got the power that he needed at Fiery Furnace for rank C, and then he kind of just autopiloted and just went into the Battle Royale.
Okay, yeah.
The reason that he kind of fell so far behind, though, because he wasn't doing too bad, he was playing fine, is I think he realized what happened as he was entering rank B Battle Royale, and he didn't know what to do. So, like, his first initial thought was to just SD and then go back and do it, but then he was like, oh, I guess I'll finish the Battle Royale, and then he died at the last hit of Machamp.
Oh,
so he had to go and complete the stage and then redo the Battle Royale. But, you know, maybe that's a strat. JP might have found something. Maybe we should just do any % and then go back and beat the stages. Maybe. Because at that point, you're super powerful. So, I don't know.
Oh
but
my god. Is that actually something that's feasible?
I don't know. I guess I'll have to test it out. But
that would... Huh.
That'd be
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh, would that mean we have to
like I said...
Weird.
Like I said earlier, the category is quite optimized, so any kind of new finds would be pretty interesting to say the least. But I want to give again huge shout outs to JP, huge shout outs to wh0m. Oh, JP's back. What up, dude? The suspense.
Oh, I'm not on. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's good, dude.
Honestly, I'm sorry,
we out here having a good time. I will plug these two guys. These guys are epic gamers. The super good at, both of them really good at Pokemon speedruns. wh0m, you just recently did the series race where he did a run of almost every Pokemon game between Gen 1 and 5. JP is going to be doing Fire Red Leaf Green Round 2, right? In the PSR
No,
Marathon.
Just 90%.
Oh, just 90%? Okay. Fire Red Leaf Green, any % in the PSR Marathon. That's going to be taking place next week. I'm going to be running this category in the PSR Marathon next week as well. So, yes. So we have a lot of stuff going on. It happens to the best of us. We have the nerves. I was nervous and I wasn't even playing. So like everything is all good. I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. We had a lot of people watching. Please give these people follows. Follow Speedrun. GSA is super awesome. Really appreciate giving us the opportunity to showcase the game. Follow me because I play video games as well.
Better than us.
I'm not sure if you guys had anything else that you wanted to plug or talk or anything.
The only thing I'm gonna say is that was probably the most fun I've had in Rumble in weeks. So that may have actually single-handedly just brought back up Rumble for me.
Well, there you go. Fantastic.
That was too funny.
Oh,
Okay.
I can tell you for certain that was the least amount of fun I had playing Rumble. So
No.
yeah,
Well,
I'm just.
We all support you, bud. So, yes. I hope you guys enjoyed that though. We're gonna go into intermission soon. I believe the Super Mario 64 7-Star League is gonna be starting in about 25 minutes, which is super exciting. I'm hyped for it. I'll be watching all of them. Hope you guys will as well. And that's it. For me. So thank you guys so much for watching again. I really appreciate it. And you all have a beautiful day.